Hello and welcome back. I'm Soma and I work as an Agile Coach and Program Manager by day. And on weekends, this is my YouTube channel. And if you're here for the first time, I would definitely encourage you to like the channel, hit the bell button so you know every time I upload a video. And I make videos on lifestyle and motivation. And welcome once again to my channel. And you know what? Today we're going to talk about something that is relevant, I guess, for all of us who are trying to make our ways through our careers. And if this is something that interests you, get yourself a cup of tea and coffee and something to nibble on, like always, and we'll get started. Are you back yet? So I hope you have your favorite cup of tea or coffee with you. So like I mentioned, it's already December, and while we're thinking of writing a New Year's resolution once again, and we're trying to wrap up this crazy year, we still want to have this time of the year to, sort of have introspect, retrospect, and kind of decide what we want to do with our lives and our career. And this is an amazing time to think back on the path you have had for your career, or things that you want to do, things you're looking forward to do in 2021. So I thought I'm going to talk about the 3 important things, the must-haves, if you want to move forward in your career, change your career. If you're in the path of this growth in your career, whether it's a corporate career, or you're trying to hustle, start a business, or you're already doing something and you want to, scale up, these 3 things are the must-haves, the 3 pillars to grow your career. Okay. So just to give you a gist, the first one is mindset, and we'll talk about a couple of things here. The second one is grit, like can you be persistent and consistent in something that you're looking forward to and work through it. And the last one is you need to get a mentor. All right. So we'll talk through all of these and try to give you as much as practical examples as possible. And I would love to know in the comment section if this is something that you agree with, or do you have anything else that you try to incorporate in your life to grow in your career, or something that has helped you down the line. Right. So the first one is mindset. Now, anyone who has grown in their career or haven't been able to grow in their career, the primary thing that everyone talks about is mindset. Now, why is mindset so important? Is because the way you look at anything and everything in your job, in the role that you take, in the expansion of the role that you would like to have, whether it's hike, salary, promotion, whatever it is, at the end of the day, it can all come down to how your mindset is, or what your attitude is, or how you work through it, right? So now when we're talking about mindset, I think there's already a video I think I made one before, so I'm going to try to link it down in the description box. But what you need to know about mindset in a gist is Carol Dweck, who wrote the book on mindset called Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, actually talked about 2 primary things. One is the growth mindset and one is the fixed mindset. Now, it is considered people who have fixed mindset always believe that I have these innate qualities which are like sort of inborn, and that is what I have, and that is what I have to work with. Now, I am not okay, or I don't believe that I can learn up a lot of new things, I can change domain, do this, try that kind of scenario. I want to keep myself in this position of certainty and probably being very protective of who I am, and that is what I'm going to do, right? So these people would primarily have what we call as fixed mindset. Now, growth mindset is obviously people who are ready to explore, while they acknowledge they have certain strengths and weakness, but they are okay to try out things, even if that means taking a little bit of risk or trying out things, or even failure for that matter of fact, right? So what Carol Dweck says is a growth mindset thrives on challenges and sees failure not as evidence of unintelligence, but as a heartening springboard for growth and for stretching our existing abilities, right? Very self-explanatory what it means. So at the heart of what makes growth mindset so awesome is what Dweck found is that it creates a passion for learning rather than a hunger for approval. So if you're the kind of person, or you want to ensure that you want to learn more, you're not in a job or you're not in a business just for the sake of making money, that you enjoy the process, that you're taking the risk, learning and unlearning things, then this is something that will help you in your path, in your growth to success, right? So growth mindset is very, very important. So another thing I want to talk to you about is the concept of mindset of marginal gains. Now, basically what that means is, it's from a book by James Clear, and what it talks about is, if you improve even a little bit every day, like you really don't have to go from 0 to 100 in a span of 1 or 2 days, which is not only impossible to achieve. What will happen is you will burn out in the process, and you might not be able to make that amount of effort on sustainable pace for a longer period of time. So the idea is, you do one small thing, very small change over a longer period of time, which doesn't seem like a lot, but if you put them all together, there's a huge difference, a huge achievement or growth or improvement from where you started to where you are now, right? So the book obviously gives a lot of examples on marginal growth and things like that, but for us, like, for people like us, everyday people, you just have to think. So let's say you're trying to change your domain, or you're trying to learn something new, or you're trying to find a job, whatever it is. If instead of saying that today I'm going to sit down and apply to 100 companies, probably is not possible. It might not even be possible for you to go through the companies, the websites of the companies you're applying for. The result could be that you might not get a call from any of the companies, because you're not researching and analyzing the companies that you're applying for, and you haven't been convincing enough to tell somebody why you want this job or this role in a particular company. What would seem more achievable and something that will probably get you more encouragement or appreciation is the fact that if you take the time, maybe you apply to only 3 companies every day, but when you apply, you make sure you know everything that is to know about that company or the role. Now, there are multiple ways to do it, and I'm sure everyone knows that, you go to LinkedIn, try to find out friends who work in that specific company, and then ask them more about the company, the roles, or if they can introduce you to anybody who is in a similar kind of role. And believe it or not, most of the time it does work out. Now, what you'll notice is very similar to something called Goldilocks Rule. The idea is to give yourself a challenge which is a little bit harder than where you are at. So if you challenge yourself to say, like, I have never run a day in my life, but you know what, 5 days down the line, I'm going to run a full marathon. First of all, it's never going to happen. Second, you're going to fall sick. The third thing is, you're giving yourself an unachievable goal, which means at some point you'll be very, very disheartened and won't be able to do it, because the amount of challenge that is something that is not feasible for anybody to do. But what you can do is to keep yourself engaged and very, very interested, is if you can give yourself a little bit of a challenge, like, all right, I'm going to start and walk like 1 kilometer today, and you keep on raising the bar. What happens in the process is, you are challenging yourself a little more harder than where you are at. So you sort of want to prove yourself that you can do it, but at the same time, you're also engaged. Your mind is engaged, and you think it's a real challenge. The next one, number 2, that we are going to talk about is called grit. Now, I started reading this book called Grit by Duckworth, I think a couple of months ago. But this is something I've always felt right to the core, even before I read the book or knew there was a book on grit. This is something you have probably noticed in your own life, or people and friends and family who have surrounded you all your life, that sometimes we think that this person has got it because the person is so smart, so intelligent, does everything correct, so this is the person who will make it. But down the line, you will in most cases see that there'll be somebody else who has sprung up, who was never in the line, who no one ever noticed that person has taken the place of what everyone thought, this super smart guy will take. And the reason is because this person turns out has the grit. Now, grit is nothing but that consistency over a period of time. So you might have ambition, you might have a goal, you can have an objective, but you do it over and over and over again, and you don't give up when you fail. It's more like the story of the rabbit and the tortoise. So the tortoise has the grit, right? Because you just never stop, knowing that probably the rabbit's going to win anyways, but you know what, I'll just keep going at it, and at the end, we all know the end of the story. And I think it has been proven over and over again. And if you think back, probably it's you who had that grit where everybody said, like, you cannot do it and you don't have it in you. And somewhere down the line, you just knew that this was for you, right? And you just got it done. So if you're in a frame of mind where you're doubting yourself, where you think, things are not going well for me, maybe because of COVID or whatever the chaotic year this has been, there has been pressure on you, things have changed a lot for you, things have been down for you. But if you think that this role, this job, this opportunity, this business is right for me, and this is something you think I'm capable of, really does not matter what others think of you, and you just have to go for it. And you just have to have that grit and strength in you to get you through. And in most cases, and just not, it's not a statement that is backed with feeling, but it's a statement that is backed with statistics and science, that you will get where you want to get, you will get through. So don't give up. And I think once in a while, if you feel that when you have those self-doubts, it's good to go and find these kind of reads that will prove to you that you are thinking on the right path. The third one is about mentor. This is a very personal thing for me, and I always have felt that, when we are struggling in your career, or when we are starting in your career, we always wait for a certain age, or we'll say like, oh, when I'm 30, I'm going to think about this. Or, when I get this promotion and I have this title, I'm going to think about the other title, and that's when I'm going to start working on it. Look for someone who is in a senior role, obviously. Look for someone who has the role you want to be in. Look for someone who has empathy. It is so important, because you don't want somebody who hushes you and who dominates your thinking and says, what you're thinking is completely wrong. This is what you got to do because that's what got me this role or title or whatever it is. I think empathy is so important, because in spite of the fact that you want to go into the same role, the journey every person takes is very unique and very individual. So you don't have to follow the exact footstep, but it's always good to know what that person did. You obviously chart your own path depending on what your strengths are. So I think find a mentor and find someone whom you can comfortably interact with, talk with, somebody who you can tell what you're fearful about. The power that you have when you have a mentor is not only that you're listening to somebody and somebody's giving you the right suggestion or advice, but the fact that also that I think it helps you become much more focused, because you're becoming more and more leaner in the way you're thinking. Your mentor is basically helping you get rid of things that don't bring ROI for you, return of investment, in the sense like what the amount of effort you're putting, or where you want to get. You have to get there, right? So your path becomes leaner because you're getting rid of things that doesn't work for you. I was so inspired by the whole thing and how it changed my life, that at some point I started a platform called Sipm Connect, and it's free. And basically what it does is it takes a group of newbies and experts, primarily in project management, because that was the area I was involved in and still am, and you basically match them. So what you do when you sign up is you say, I'm a newbie or an expert. So let's say if you're in project management for like 2 years or 3 years, you're probably trying to gain more experience, so you're a newbie. Or maybe you could be a complete fresher. And if you're somebody who's been in the industry for 8 years, 10 years, 15 years, you can say I'm an expert. So the advantage is when you log in, you already have a database full of people who are happy to help you, who are happy to mentor you. So you don't have to do cold calling, cold emailing, trying to find someone who is not willing to work with you. The other advantage is it's global. It's a global platform, which means let's say you're based like me, you're based out of India in Hyderabad, and I'm looking for a mentor, let's say in San Francisco, because, oh, guess what? I'm moving, 6 months later in San Francisco. So what you do is you log in, you look for a mentor in US, in San Francisco, and you look at the domain. So if you're, let's say, in the fashion industry, then you just go find a project manager who is based out of San Francisco in the fashion industry, and you just, send them an email and start the conversation. You don't have to go to LinkedIn, you don't have to go anywhere, it's all inbuilt. And then you can decide, when you are once in San Francisco, if you want to continue the conversation over email or phone, or do you want to do it like actually go meet face to face and things like that. So this is a very personal story, and the platform is by me and it's still maintained by me, but it has no marketing, no gimmicks. I mean, I guess other than the fact that I'm talking about it here, it basically just runs on its own, word of mouth, and it's something that sprung because I believe everybody in their heart wants to give back to the community that have given them so much. Yeah, so that's it. I think 3 important things, 3 pillars that you need to have right now, or think about at least before you end the year. So when you write your New Year's resolution, you are ready to go for it. Because if you have the right mindset, if you have the grit in you, and if you have the right person behind you who will mentor you and show you the path, I think there's no way that anyone can stop you from what you want to do, right? So I hope this makes sense. And if it does, again, don't forget to let me know in the comment section below. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and finish my cup of tea. And if you are already subscribed, just want to say thank you very much. Don't forget to hit on the like button, because what it does is I think it will help this video to reach out to more people with similar mindset. And if you haven't subscribed, if you like the kind of content, and this is what we do, so I talk mostly about motivation and lifestyle, and then just go ahead and hit the subscription button, and I'll see you next time around.